the vegetation. I recognized the ape-man and two of the white-swathed creatures I had seen in Montgomery's boat. With these were two dappled brutes and that grey creature who said the law. Montgomery spoke. "Who said he was dead?" The monkey-man looked guiltily at the hairy grey thing. "He is dead," said this monster. "They saw." "Is there a law now?" asked the monkey-man. "Is there a law?" repeated the one in white. "Is there a law, thou other with the whip?" I began to see how things lay with them. I stepped in front of Montgomery and lifted up my voice. "Children of the law," I said, "he is not dead." Maling turned his sharp eyes on me. "He has changed his shape. He has changed his body," I went on. "For a time, you will not see him. He is there." I pointed upward. "Where he can watch you. You cannot see him, but he can see you. Fear the law." I looked at them squarely. They flinched. "He is great. He is good," said the ape-man, peering fearfully upward among the dense trees. "Show us now where his old body lies," said I. "The body he cast away because he had no more need of it." "It is this way, man who walked in the sea," said the grey thing. With these 6 creatures guiding us, we went through the tumult of ferns and creepers and tree stems. We came upon the gnawed and mutilated body of the puma, its shoulder bone smashed by a bullet, and perhaps 20 yards further, found at last what we sought. Moreau lay face downward in a trampled space. One hand was almost severed at the wrist. The broken canes beneath him were smeared with blood. Resting at intervals, we carried him back to the enclosure. Twice we heard unseen creatures howling and shrieking past our little band, but we were not attacked. At the gates, our company of beast people left us, Maling going with the rest. We locked ourselves in and took Moreau's mangled body into the yard. Then we went into the laboratory and put an end to all we found living there. "The thing we have to think of now," said I, "is how to get away from this island." "What's the good of getting away?" cried Montgomery. "I'm an outcast. Where am I to join on? And besides, what will become of the decent part of the beast folk?" I sat grimly watching his face under the yellow paraffin flare as he drank himself into a garrulous misery. "I'm damned," said he, staggering to his feet and clutching the brandy bottle. By some flash of intuition, I knew what it was he intended. "You don't give drink to that beast," I said, rising. He flung the doorway open and stood half facing me. "You're a solemn prig, Prendick. A silly ass. We're on the edge of things. I'm bound to cut my throat tomorrow. I'm gonna have a damned bank holiday tonight." He turned and went out into the moonlight. "Maling!" he cried. "Maling, old friend!" 3 dim creatures came along the edge of the one beach. One a white-wrapped creature, the other 2 blotches of blackness following it. They halted, staring. Then I saw Maling's hunched shoulders as he came round the corner of the house. "Drink!" cried Montgomery. "Drink, you brutes! Drink and be men!" And waving the bottle in his hand, he started off at a quick trot to the westward, Maling ranging himself between him and the 3 who followed. I shut the door, locked it, and began to turn over my plans. In the morning I would gather some provisions in the dinghy and push out into the high sea once more. I brought the lamp into a shed to look at some kegs I'd seen there, rummaging as well as a one-armed man could, finding this convenient thing and that for tomorrow's launch. The time passed quickly, and daylight crept upon me. Then came the crack of a revolver. Up the beach a bonfire was burning. Around this struggled a mass of black figures. I began to run towards this fire, revolver in hand. I saw the pink tongue of Montgomery's pistol lick out once, close to the ground. He was down. I shouted with all my strength and fired into the air. The crowd of beast people fled in sudden panic before me. I fired at their retreating backs as they disappeared among the bushes. Montgomery lay on his back, with the hairy grey beast-man sprawling across his body. The brute was dead, but still gripping Montgomery's throat with its curving claws. Nearby lay Meling. Montgomery was dark in the face and scarcely breathing. I pillowed his head on my rolled-up coat, cursing my ignorance of medicine. Suddenly I heard a thud and a hissing behind me. Great masses of black smoke were boiling up out of the enclosure, and through their stormy darkness shot flickering threads of blood-red flame. I knew at once what had happened. When I had rushed out to Montgomery's assistance, I had overturned the lamp. I looked to see where the two boats lay upon the beach. They were gone. An axe lay upon the sand. Chips and splinters were scattered, and the ashes of the bonfire were blackening under the dawn. Montgomery had burnt them both. "Sorry," he said with an effort. He seemed trying to think. "The last," he murmured. "The last of this silly universe. What a mess." He seemed suddenly heavier, and my heart went cold. I let his head fall gently upon the rough pillow I had made for him, and stood up. Then out of the bushes came 3 beast people, advancing towards me with hesitating gestures. There was nothing for it but courage. I picked up the blood-stained whip and cracked it. "They broke the law," said I. "They have been slain, even the sayer of the law, even the other with the whip. Great is the law." "None escape," said one of them, advancing and peering. "Take him," said I, pointing at Montgomery. "Carry him out and cast him into the sea." They lifted him gingerly down to the beach, and went splashing into the dazzling welter of the sea. "On," said I. "Carry him far." They went in up to their armpits and stood regarding me. "Let go," said I, and the body of Montgomery vanished with a splash. Something seemed to tighten across my chest. "Good," said I, with a break in my voice, and they came back, hurrying and fearful, to the margin of the water, leaving long wakes of black in the silver. I heard a light footfall behind me, and turning quickly saw the big hyena swine perhaps a dozen yards away. His bright eyes were fixed upon me. For a moment we stood. Then cried I, "Salute! Bow down!" His teeth flashed upon me in a snarl. "Who are you that I should?" I drew my revolver, aimed quickly, and fired. I heard him yelp, saw him run sideways and turn. I clicked back the cock for the next shot, but he was already running headlong, and vanished beneath the driving masses of dense smoke that were still pouring out from the burning enclosure. In solitude I made my way round by the ravine of the beast people. Towards noon certain of them came and squatted basking in the hot sun. The imperious voices of hunger and thirst prevailed over my dread. I came out of the bushes and, revolver in hand, walked down towards these seated figures. One, a wolf woman, turned her head and stared at me, and then the others. "I want food," said I. "There's food in the huts," said an ox-boar man drowsily. I went down into the shadow and odours of the ravine. In an empty hut I feasted on some specked and half-decayed fruit, and then, after I had propped some branches and sticks about the opening and placed myself with my face towards it and my hand upon my revolver, the exhaustion of the last 30 hours claimed its own, and I fell into a light slumber. When I awoke it was dark about me. I heard breathing, saw something crouched together close beside me. "They say there is no master now," said the creature, "but I know. I carried the bodies into the sea, O walker in the sea. the bodies of those you slew. I am your slave, master." The thing was evidently faithful enough, for it might have fallen upon me as I slept. The tide of my courage flowed. "Where are the others?" I asked. "They are mad. They are fools," said the dogman. "They say the master is dead. We have no master, no whips, no house of pain any more. But I know, master. I know." I felt in the darkness and patted the dogman's head. "Walk by me," said I, nerving myself. And side by side we walked down the narrow way, taking little heed of the dim things that peered at us out of the huts.